Why do your thoughts get foggy at night? Even after a quiet day, you're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. According to a 2022 study from the Sleep and Cognition Lab at Stanford, adults over 60 experience up to a 32% drop in short-term memory recall after 7 p.m. Not because of exhaustion, not because of aging, but because your brain is trying to heal and it's missing the raw materials to do it. I've seen this happen again and again. You wake up sharp, feel focused by lunch, and then by evening the lights are on, but the clarity is gone. You misplace the remote, lose your train of thought mid-sentence, or walk into a room and forget why. Sound familiar? This isn't just aging, it's a nutrient deficit, quietly draining your brain of the compounds it needs to recover during sleep. But here's the twist. The solution isn't a new pill, a fancy supplement, or some exotic berry flown in from across the world. It's 3 simple foods you've likely eaten your whole life, just used at the right time in the right way. I've been a doctor for over 30 years. I've worked with hundreds of seniors struggling with fading memory, lost focus, and brain fatigue. And I've learned this. You can't rebuild what your body doesn't feed, but when you give it the right tools, recovery isn't just possible, it's inevitable. This video is going to show you exactly how to do that, naturally, gently, and starting tonight. If this is your first time here, I'd be honored to have you subscribe to Pure Health Tips, where we explore real solutions, not hype. Now back to your brain. Your brain doesn't decline because of age. It slows because of neglect. You wouldn't skip oil changes on your car for 30 years and expect it to run smoothly. So why do we expect our minds to stay sharp when we deprive them of the very nutrients that rebuild them overnight? In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 3 specific foods, all egg and dairy based, that target brain cell recovery, neurotransmitter balance, and memory support during sleep. These aren't just tasty, they're biochemically active, especially after 60. And the best part, they're already in your kitchen. Let's start with the one part of the egg that most people ignore, and it's the part your brain craves most. Most people have been told to fear the yolk. Too much cholesterol, too rich, too old-fashioned. But for the aging brain, that golden center is not a threat. It's a gift. Egg yolks are one of the most concentrated natural sources of choline. This nutrient is not optional. It's essential. Choline is what your brain uses to make acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that helps you remember, learn, and stay focused. After 60, your levels of acetylcholine don't just fall, they crash. And without enough acetylcholine, brain cells can't talk to each other. Signals slow, memory fades, mental sharpness becomes a fog. You might not notice it all at once, but one evening it's forgetting a word. Another day it's standing in the kitchen, wondering why you walked in. Back in 2019, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition published a study showing that older adults with higher dietary choline had better verbal memory and faster processing. Their brains were sharper, more responsive, and all they did was eat more foods rich in choline like egg yolks. But choline is just the beginning. Egg yolks are also packed with phospholipids. These are compounds your brain uses to rebuild the walls of its nerve cells. Think of it like patching up the insulation around old wires. With better insulation, brain signals travel faster, cleaner, and more efficiently. That's critical after 60, when nerve repair naturally slows down. Another powerful compound in egg yolk is lutein. While most people think of lutein as a vision nutrient, researchers in 2017 published findings in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience showing that lutein also accumulates in the brain. There, it helps protect neurons from oxidative stress and supports sharper memory in older adults. This is not theory. I've seen it work. Linda had been skipping yolks for years. She thought she was doing her heart a favor, but her evenings were getting harder. She'd lose focus mid-sentence, forget where she left the mail. I asked her to add 1 soft-boiled egg yolk to her dinner 3 times a week. Within a month, she told me her mind felt quieter. She wasn't reaching for words. Conversations flowed again. It wasn't magic. It was repair, silent, steady, natural. If you want to give your brain the same support, here's what I recommend. Start small. 1 whole egg with dinner. Ideally soft-boiled or poached. That preserves the choline and healthy fats. Scrambled is fine too. Just keep the heat low. You want to nourish the brain, not scorch the nutrients. You don't need to eat it every day. 3 to 4 evenings per week is enough. What matters most is consistency, giving your brain a steady stream of the compounds it needs to rebuild itself overnight. If digestion is an issue, pair the egg with a bit of leafy greens or lightly steamed vegetables. That supports absorption and makes it gentler on the stomach before bed. This is not a trend. It's not a superfood hype. This is biochemistry meeting common sense. The yolk has been misunderstood for decades, but inside that yellow center is one of the most powerful brain rebuilding tools nature ever designed, especially for those of us past 60. As the sun sets and your body prepares for deep restoration, egg yolks quietly deliver the molecules your brain needs most, not to make you smarter overnight, but to help you stay yourself, to protect the memories you've built and the clarity you still need. That's what real brain food looks like. And now that your neurons are getting the message, it's time to talk about the second layer of recovery, because while yolks rebuild, this next food calms. It signals your nervous system that it's safe to relax, restore, and remember. And that food is milk. There's a reason so many people used to end their day with a warm glass of milk. Long before science could explain it, the body already knew. Milk does something few other foods can do. It speaks directly to the nervous system. At first glance, milk looks simple, a blend of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. But inside that simplicity is a cocktail of molecules that work in harmony with your brain's overnight repair process, especially after 60, when natural hormone production slows and neural recovery becomes more fragile. Let's start with tryptophan. Milk is a natural source of this amino acid, which the body uses to produce serotonin and melatonin. Serotonin regulates mood and cognition. Melatonin governs sleep. Together, they form the chemical foundation for calm thinking and stable memory formation. As we age, the body's ability to convert tryptophan into these key compounds becomes less efficient. That's why older adults often struggle with both disrupted sleep and memory lapses. But when milk is consumed in the evening, it delivers tryptophan at the exact time the brain is preparing to enter deep sleep. A clinical trial published in Nutrients in 2020 showed that milk-derived peptides increase sleep efficiency in older adults by supporting deeper non-REM sleep, the stage most associated with brain detoxification and memory consolidation. That deeper sleep is where your brain decides what to keep, what to forget, and what to repair. But milk offers more than just better sleep. It also supports the brain's structural integrity. Casein, one of the primary proteins in milk, breaks down slowly in the digestive system. That slow release provides a sustained supply of amino acids, especially glutamine, which is critical for neurotransmitter production and immune balance in the brain. Glutamine serves as a precursor to GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that reduces neuronal overactivity. And in aging brains, GABA tends to decline, leading to racing thoughts and fragmented memory. Milk fat also plays an important role. Though often overlooked, the lipid layer in milk contains phospholipids and sphingomyelin, two compounds that are vital for the structure of neuronal membranes. In 2022, a review published in the Journal of Dairy Science concluded that milk fat components may help improve synaptic function and cognitive flexibility in older adults when consumed regularly. This matters because as neurons age, their membranes become stiff and less responsive. That leads to slower communication and greater susceptibility to damage. But with enough building blocks like those found in whole milk, the body can continue repairing and replacing those membranes even late in life. Of course, not all milk is created equal. Skim milk lacks the healthy fats that support brain repair. Whole milk, especially organic, contains the full spectrum of nutrients your brain needs. That fat is not harmful. It is brain fuel. A warm glass in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before bed, is enough. No sugar needed. A touch of cinnamon or vanilla is fine, but keep it clean. Let the nutrients do the talking. Milk works quietly, not with dramatic promises, but with steady support. Over time, it builds the foundation for deeper rest and sharper clarity. It helps your brain feel safe enough to heal. You don't need sleeping pills, you need nourishment. Egg yolks rebuild the brain structure, milk restores its rhythm, and now one final food brings these together, boosting both stability and repair as you sleep. That food is cheese. It might surprise you, but one of the most calming, brain-supportive foods for seniors isn't something new or exotic. It's cheese. Not the processed slices sealed in plastic. I'm talking about real cheese. Aged, cultured, nutrient-dense. For decades, cheese has been unfairly criticized for its fat and sodium content. But when used correctly, especially in the evening, it becomes one of the most efficient tools for stabilizing the aging brain overnight. The key lies in its unique combination of casein peptides and natural fats. When digested slowly, these peptides interact with GABA receptors in the brain. GABA is the neurotransmitter responsible for reducing excessive neuronal firing. Think of it as your brain's internal volume knob. When GABA levels drop, thoughts race, sleep becomes shallow, memory formation weakens, but when GABA rises, the brain quiets, focus returns, sleep deepens. A study published in the journal Biofactors in 2018 showed that cheese-derived tripeptides can bind to GABA receptors and promote anxiolytic effects, meaning they help reduce anxiety and promote calm. For older adults, this calming effect during evening hours is essential for memory encoding and emotional regulation. Cheese also contains healthy saturated fats and cholesterol, both of which are crucial for maintaining the structural integrity of neurons. While that may sound controversial, the reality is that the human brain is nearly 60% fat. After 60, the ability to synthesize and replenish these lipids declines. Without enough dietary support, neural membranes lose flexibility. This makes communication between brain cells slower and more fragile. In 2021, researchers at the University of Texas published findings showing that older adults who consumed moderate amounts of full-fat cheese had better performance on memory and word recall tasks than those who avoided it. The results were linked to improved lipid composition in the cell membranes of the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. One of my patients, named Walter, had been experiencing evening irritability and memory slips. I recommended a small piece of aged cheddar after dinner, paired with a slice of pear or apple. Within 3 weeks, his wife told me he's sleeping better, and he actually remembers the stories I tell him before bed. The beauty of cheese is not just in its chemistry, but in its simplicity. Just one oz of real cheese, cheddar, Gouda, Swiss, or Parmesan is enough to deliver meaningful amounts of casein peptides and brain-supportive fats. You don't need a large portion. In fact, too much can be counterproductive. What you need is consistency and quality. For best results, choose naturally aged cheeses without additives. Avoid ultra-processed versions. The goal is to support the brain, not overload the body. Pairing cheese with a piece of fruit or a few whole grain crackers helps with digestion and prevents any heaviness before bed. The combination of protein and natural fat slows absorption, sustaining neurotransmitter balance well into the night. Many seniors turn to pills when they feel mentally frayed, but the body doesn't always need more medication. It needs restoration. Cheese helps the brain settle. It supports sleep, it protects structure, it reminds your nervous system that it's safe to repair. This is not about indulgence, it's about intention. Food, when understood, becomes therapy. And with just 3 ingredients, egg yolks, milk, and cheese, you can build a powerful foundation for nightly brain recovery. Now that you know what to eat, the question becomes, how do you build a routine that makes it work? And that's exactly what we'll cover next. Now that you understand what your brain truly needs, the next step is turning that knowledge into something real, something you can do, something you can feel. And the good news is this plan doesn't require a new routine. It just means adjusting what you already do gently, wisely, intentionally. Start with dinner. Make sure your evening meal is not too heavy, not too late. Give your digestive system 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That gives your brain the space to focus on healing, not just processing food. Then, about 90 minutes before sleep, choose just one of the 3 brain-repairing foods. If you haven't had eggs during the day, a soft-boiled or gently scrambled egg in the evening can deliver choline and phospholipids right when your brain is preparing for deep consolidation. Keep it light. One egg is enough. On another night, warm up a small glass of whole milk. Sip it slowly. Let it settle. As the tryptophan and peptides do their work, your nervous system will get the message. Relax, repair, restore. 2 or 3 nights a week, end the day with a slice of real cheese, just an ounce. Pair it with a few bites of fruit. This helps deliver GABA-supporting compounds and healthy fats while also keeping blood sugar steady. You don't need to use all 3 foods every night. What matters most is rhythm, repetition, gentle cycles of support that tell your brain the same thing over and over again. You are not in danger. You are not too old. You are not broken. You are healing. The beauty of this plan is how forgiving it is. If you forget one night, start again the next. If you get it half right, your brain will still notice. It's not about perfection. It's about providing the raw tools consistently, quietly, and with care. You have more control than you think. And when you begin to support your mind while you sleep, you're no longer just resting. You're rebuilding. So tonight, take a moment to choose one simple thing. A yolk, a glass of milk, a small bite of cheese. Not as a snack, not as a treat, but as a message to your brain. You are safe now. It's time to remember who you are. If you've made it to this point, I want to say something very simple. Thank you, not just for watching, but for caring enough about your own mind to give it another chance. You see, I've spent over 3 decades sitting across from people who thought it was too late. People who were convinced that their brain had passed some invisible point of no return. But the truth is, memory doesn't just vanish. Clarity doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly, quietly, because it hasn't been nourished the way it needs. And now you know how to change that. Egg yolks to rebuild, milk to calm, cheese to protect. You don't need to chase the latest trends. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated plans. What your brain needs has been with you all along, on your plate, in your kitchen, waiting to be understood. You are not broken. You are not beyond help. You are simply missing the right tools. And now that you have them, I hope tonight feels different. Not just quieter, but stronger, more grounded, more you. If this video helped you, even in a small way, I'd love for you to support the message. Tap like, share it with a friend who might be quietly struggling. Subscribe to Pure Health Tips for more videos just like this. Simple, science-backed, and made with care. And before you go, leave a comment below. What did you find most helpful? What would you like us to talk about next? Your story might be the light someone else is searching for. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, rest well. Your brain deserves it.